Today I'm going to walk you through how I created this cute croissant illustration in Procreate. I will show you my whole process step by step, from the sketch to flat colors to adding texture so it looks extra yummy. This simple doodle style is perfect if you want to turn your art into stickers, foam wallpapers, seamless patterns for things like bedding and fabric prints. If you like to draw along with me, I've put a download link in the video description. You can grab my sketch and the color palette there. Alright, let's jump into the drawing process. So here I'm loosely sketching the croissant while looking at my reference photo off to the side. Because this is just a small everyday object doodle, I'm not too worried about making the line art perfect. Instead of thinking I'm drawing a croissant, I break it down into simple shapes, like a big triangle here, a rounded rectangle there, and a few little bumps on top. I just compare these shapes and their sizes to get the overall form right. I keep it pretty quick and loose at this stage, just blocking in a rough sketch first before I worry about any details. After that, I like to tweak the line art to see if I can make the shape a bit more appealing. One of my most used tools in Procreate is the Liquify tool. For this croissant, I felt the shape wasn't full enough, so I used Liquify to gently push and pull the lines, making it rounder and softer, which I think looks much cuter. After I finish adjusting the sketch with Liquify and I'm happy with the shape, I go back in with a bit more pressure on my Apple Pencil to darken and clean up the lines. That gives me a more refined final sketch to work with, and then I can start laying down the base colors, just following those lines. Because the sketch is already doing the hard work, I don't have to think too much at this stage. By the way, if you want to skip the sketching part, I've included my line art in the download link, so don't forget to grab it and paint along with me. You can see that after I drop in just 2 base colors, the croissant already reads really clearly as a croissant. Since I'm going for more of a colored pencil chalky look, I switch to my textured brush and start building up the colors based on the light and shadow. You can see in the reference photo that the light is coming from the top to left, so I add warmer, lighter tones on the top left side of the croissant and then deepen the colors on the bottom right side. That contrast between the light side and the shadow side really helps the croissant look more three-dimensional and soft. Then I keep using a textured brush, but now with a darker color to pick out the deeper shadows on the croissant. You can see that at this point I finally zoom in on the canvas, because now I'm focusing on all the smaller folds and bumps. Once this darker color is added, you can really start to feel the little planes and curves of the pastry. All those tiny rises and dips become much more visible. Personally, this is my favorite part of the process. I love using textured brushes to build up the grain on my illustrations. Once that texture goes on, it instantly feels less like digital art and more like real colored pencil or chalk on paper. You might notice that I deepen the colors step by step instead of jumping straight to the darkest shade. In the color palette I've shared with you, I've already picked out all the darker tones you will need. Try not to skip any of them. It's much better to darken things gradually. So the first dark color covers a large area. The second darker color covers a smaller area on top of that. And the darkest shade is only used in the tiniest areas for the deepest shadows. As the dark areas get smaller, you also want to slowly reduce your brush size so the transitions stay soft and natural. That's how you get really pretty, subtle color variation. If you're enjoying this tutorial and like my art style and the way I explain things, I also have a full real-time version of this tutorial inside my drawing membership. It's a 28-minute video where I draw and explain everything slowly, step by step, including how I use the brushes, the layers, and all the little details I can't fully cover in a short YouTube video. If you're really interested in my art style, or you often feel stuck when drawing alone and can't quite enjoy the process, you might find my membership super helpful. I've put the link in the description. You are very welcome to join me there. Every month I upload new tutorials, starting from simple everyday objects like this one, and guiding you through drawing from reference in a relaxed, supportive way. Alright, coming back to our croissant illustration, you can see that I'm finishing it off by giving it a little face. Whenever I draw small objects like these, just like the 4 little plant pots we did in the membership tutorials, I love adding simple facial features to make them extra cute. And of course, I almost always add blush. Once you pop those soft pink cheeks on, it instantly looks even more adorable. This is a fun little trick you can try out on your own drawings too. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and found the process helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.